Wow, this market knows how to play games with us. I mean, we are so green today, and already we've forgotten about what they put us through about 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, I was glued to my phone watching these things melt down. I thought at one point we were getting a capitulation from BTC. I was just waiting for this moment, trying to manage these trades. I'm sure you guys were feeling the same yesterday. We were just watching these RSIs. We were waiting for a reversal. It was very tense time. But again, we've brushed this off. Nothing's happened now. Everything's pumping. We've got injective pumping now, airdrop season. Atoms pumping from airdrop season. Things are turning green as hell here. So today we're talking about injective again. I've got Atom for you. I've got a trade set up on Uni. I've taken a long trade using our new easy algo indicator again on 𝗬𝗏, which I'm going to talk you through. Then we're looking at AI tokens. There's news with AI stuff happening as well. Then is it time to short the S&P? Sounds a little bit dodgy, sounds a little bit crazy, but with the CPI happening today, coming in flat. We've got FOMC tomorrow. Maybe there's going to be some bad news. The S&P is potentially teeing up for something there for us. So we've got a lot to talk about today, guys. Let's get right into it. So we saw the CPI data come in flat today, and quite interesting. You know, this S&P has just been motoring up, doesn't seem to want to stop. But finally, we might be getting some signs here on this S&P that things could potentially be reversing. So I'm tentatively looking at these levels that we've got up here. This 4640 areas looking interesting to me on this S&P. So just something to play around with here. We do have some bearish divergence playing out here. We can see the prices going up. We can see the oscillator is turning down. So if this oscillator really starts dipping now for us on this S&P, I think we're going to get some kind of pullback here. So guys, let me know in the chats if you like this idea. I know there's a couple of bears over there that might be interested, but for me, I'm toying with the idea of laddering into a short, playing into this FOMC tomorrow, because any hawkish talk tomorrow or any negative news, and I think we are going to drop down and potentially come and close this gap in this nice little area here at about 4,400. So we'll talk about that later again. I want to see what you guys are saying in the chats. We can also talk about this one tomorrow. It's definitely going to be a discussion point. But let's get back onto BTC and just look at why we're here and why was I sweating last night? Well, yesterday we were looking at this play. This was the 2-hour chart that we were looking at, and I was looking for this pullback. Ideally, I wanted to bounce on this horizontal here that I highlighted here, and then we wanted that push up to trend. The next backup was the complete double bottom for BTC that we were looking at, but we knew that was going to put us under pressure, and they really did put us under pressure. They started testing us there yesterday. We were sweating it out. I'm sure, guys, let me know in the chats how you were feeling, because I was under pressure. And again, they dipped us down and they gave us this nice little reversal, and we woke up again this morning all green and back to business as usual. So what am I watching now today? I'm watching this current horizontal that we're testing now, 41,300. So we're back in this range now, watching this area, 41,300. I've got the 618 as backup for today, 41,000 on the button. And then again, we don't really want to come back here, 40,100. That was pain. We don't want to visit again. But if we do, we're going to have to really manage things. So these are my downside levels right now, 41,300, 40,000. 40,100. So that is what we're watching. The bulls, you know what you want. We want to push this up. We want to break this trend. We'll get a little rejection here, most likely 42,500, retest on this horizontal, and then we are cooking. Then we are firing it up. So this is the game plan for me today. On these 2-hour charts, we're going to play it as this plays out. I think Ashley says I've got big kahunas for wanting to take on this S&P. Guys, well, look, I think the chart's telling us that S&P might want to start dipping for us. So we'll keep going. We're going to discuss it tomorrow again. We've got lots of time for that. BTC, bigger picture. Here we are again. This is the weekly. No changes here. Once again, our big area, which we don't want to visit, 37K. That is still on the table here. 50-day MA, 382 fibs. I've got weekly horizontals. This is a massive zone for us here. 37K is a buy zone. If we do get a capitulation and a dump down here, 37K is where you are looking to buy, but it is going to hurt. If we go down there, these altcoins are going to get smashed. we're going to get hurt. We're going to wish we were sitting in stables all day long. So just be prepared. If things start dropping, it's not going to be pretty out there. So 37 bigger picture is the next buy zone. Okay, let's look at our next one here. We've got some news. So those of you wondering why Injective and things like this are ripping like that, if you're anything like me, I mean, I just look at these charts and then I start asking researchers. I ask around. I'm like, what is the story with this shit? And this is all getting pumped because it's airdrop season, and now Injective is the latest hype, and Injective is now pushing all-time highs here. Looking very interesting now. You can see this weekly high that we had here at 25. So this is an area we want to see Injective hold. But with this current airdrop hype and everyone pumping this Injective, they're basically buying Injective tokens to stake it on other platforms to try and win an airdrop. And whether that's going to happen or not, we don't even know. So everyone's just heard these stories with Jito on Sol and all these things. And now they are trying their luck on Injective, and you can see they're pumping it all over Twitter. I mean, here are these airdrops that are available. I mean, I even fell into the retail trap here. And today I went and staked Injective on this Black Panther protocol because I thought, well, let me have a piece of this as well. So I've staked on this Black Panther. You can see there's this Talis protocol as well that you can stake on, do all these things. So if you want to play that game, you need to do a little bit of research. But this is what's going on. It's quite a story. And they're locking up these tokens. So that's why the supply is getting limited. Prices are moving up. And obviously, when this all ends and these tokens get unlocked, it all falls over again. So just understand that it is getting hyped and it is getting pumped. So for those of you that want to scalp the volatility here or scalp the hype, I've drawn up some degen levels here for you guys for Injective. So this is Injective on the 15 minutes, full on degen here. And this is what you're watching. This is what I've been tracking for most of the day. Started out this morning. We had a dip into this nice little horizontal. So for me, 25.5 on these 15-minute candles is degen levels here for you guys. So potential bounce area. You can see they've been playing in this little range. And then our next region here, Injective, 24.7. That's another hot zone here for the 15 minutes. And then lower down, we don't really want to go much lower than this guy. I'd say the momentum is flat if we start closing under this 24 level. So my levels here, bounce areas Injective, 25.5. We can see this little range here. You could potentially carry on playing this range until it breaks. Then 24.7 and then 23.9, 24. If we close under this area, then I think the party is done for Injective, and you can again just dial out and you can see if we lose that area, our target is going to be the next weekly bottom there, 21.3. So if we lose that level, we're looking at 21.3. So play safe out there. Now you know why Injective is pumping and all these tokens are moving. Are there any stakers here? Or are we just stakers and airdroppers here? Or are we all hardcore traders? Let me know what's going on here. Let me go. Party started for Atom. Yeah, Iceboy says the party has started for Atom. Yeah, we saw Atom taking off. There's also some kind of airdrop action going on there for Atom. It said the airdrops come to dump on DJ viewers. Wow. Yeah, DJ and stuff, guys. This is like next level. Okay, so let's go to our next token. If you are interested in the staking business and these airdrops and things, you can go into this Injective hub. This isn't really my area of expertise, but you can see there's a whole lot of projects here, and you can see the guys are getting stuck in. It's showing the stake demand, all these things. You can play around with that stuff, but guys, do your research. It's a hit and miss sort of system there. So I like to stick to the charts mostly. Okay, the next setup I have for you guys today, Uniswap. So there is a little bit of news on Uni. They are just improving things, and we know it's a bit of a dino coin considering the current environment, but we'd like to see a move from Uni at some point, and we have seen some older tokens starting to pop off and starting to run. So my eyes are on this Uni, and I'm liking Uni here on the weekly, and it's quite a simple little setup. We've broken this weekly trend, nice little push higher, and we've come back and we've retested the 382 for Uni. So for me, Uni 5.9 is a nice little support level that you can play with, and it's quite a simple setup here and quite an easy exit. So if we lose this 382 level at 5.9, you're going to look for a stop out, and then you're going to want to look for a buy down at the 618. So if Uni fails here, this is our next buy zone. Quite a simple setup here. Your next buy area is 5. So the current buy area for this current position I got here, anything from about 6.1 down to about 5.9 is a buy zone for me. We're playing the 382 support, and then we're looking for a nice push higher on uni for an upside of about 57%. So that's a target of about 9.5 for uni that I'm looking at. Interim target 618. We have a 618 and horizontal here, so 7.6 is another area I have for uni. So I'm going to play this this uni trade here. Current risk from the middle of this area, if you want to ladder into your positions here on uni, your current risk is 4.9%. If you are laddering into your entries, for example, and you're buying all the way down, then your stop loss risk obviously decreases as you drop into that 382. But this is a play for me. This is a long-term play. It will last probably a week or two, I would suggest. But something that I have my eyes on here. It says Christmas dump time. Mr. Bird says, what about render? Yeah, we saw some news on AI tokens. So Fetch and render started moving. We're going to take a look at that as well. Right, next one I got for you guys. Again, I'm still talking about DYDX. I've seen the guys on Twitter now. They're starting to talk about DYDX. And I tell you what, it's going to come. At some point, we're going to get our move from DYDX. So play patiently. Just hang around here. You can see DYDX is still sitting in this nice region here on the 12 hour. I've got the 618 in play. I've got the trend. I've got some horizontal action here for DYDX. I still like it. There is some news on DYDX coming. We've got an exchange listing coming in Hong Kong. That might give it a little bit more volume. And I've seen some of the guys on Twitter talking about it. They're looking for longs on DYDX as well. So I am hanging on to my DYDX long. Let's see how we go. Quite a simple play here for me. We start losing this. We close underneath this area that we start looking like this is invalidated. And then we're looking for our bounce at the 786 region lower down. What I want to see a nice push up here. Want to break this trend, get the support. I'm going to add to that position over there, and then we're going to send it. So right now I've got a nice little DYDX building, easy to exit if we are wrong. You can jump out when we close underneath the 618 and trend. If we are right, we're going to add to this position and we're going to pump this thing. And there could be some nice targets up here for DYDX. Round about 4.3, I would say, is our first stop. So very keen on that. David says, don't marry DYDX. It's a horrible feeling, guys, when you get married to a token and you just feel this token's going to pump. If I close this position, this token's going to pump. How often has this happened to you guys? It's definitely happened to me. Alf says he chases green candles. Be careful with chasing those green candles all day long because you can get wrecked if they reverse on you. We've got questions about where is AVAX going to bounce. I'm going to look at AVAX for you. I do have a scalper set up for you on AVAX as well. David is interested in Litecoin. Yeah, there is a Litecoin setup, guys. If you like the 50-day MA and horizontals, there is a long there for Litecoin brewing there. Not really what I was going to look at today. ETH has been married to render since it was 40 cents. Okay, so he knows that feeling. But then he's cooking on render. Okay, next, I've taken a long. Actually, two interesting topics here. I've taken a long on Arbitrum based on our easy algo indicator that I introduced to you guys last week. I'm going to talk to you guys about that now. But we also see there's now a partnership here between Arbitrum and ApeCoin. So I want to just talk about this ApeCoin again because ApeCoin seems to be growing. They do have some kind of business case here. They might be taking things a little bit bigger, and there might be a play still for ApeCoin. Maybe there's going to be a future for ApeCoin. So the first thing I wanted to show you, I am building this long in this current block right now. We actually are in our entry zone. This was our easy algo indicator. So for those of you that don't know, I introduced this one last week. It's a Banter in-house indicator. You can grab this one in the description. There is a link for it in the description. And basically what's happened here is it highlights your weekly pivot points. And we like to look for longs. Once we break through the weekly pivot points, we use the lower half of the weekly pivot points as our support and stop loss region to exit positions. And if we start closing above the weekly pivot support, we start looking for targets that look at our daily pivots up here at 1.25, and then we start looking higher at this 1.3 region. So right now, the indicator we saw today, it broke through our weekly pivot. It's now pulled back nicely into our area, and you can see that it has tried to bounce here at the bottom of the weekly pivot. So right now, it's still holding our weekly pivot, and it is in our entry zone. If you grab the entry right now, your stop is actually going to be even lower risk here. If you grab this entry right now, your stop is about 1.6%. So you want to wait for that candle to close. If we lose an area, remember, if you lose an area with a stop, you want to wait for that candle to close underneath for confirmation, because often they come down and they just try and flush you and they send it back up. So right now I am long on Arbitrum based on the easy algo indicator. And let's see how this plays out. We've got a 18% move that I'm looking for the top upside, but the lower region, TP1, is 8%. So quite a nice risk reward here. Risk 1.5 to 2% risk, and upside pretty decent. I've also got Simon in the back here. He's working on some stuff. Have you found anything for me yet?
Potentially. I'm working.
Keep working. Okay, Simon is looking for a setup for us as well. So let's see what he's got. I know he's digging around there at the moment. Okay, ApeCoin. So we've seen there is some news about ApeCoin. They are trying to make, they are trying to turn things around a little bit. And what I want to talk to you guys about is this weekly on ApeCoin. You can see what's going on here. It's hardly moved the last while. We've had all these other coins blow up. ApeCoin has just been chilling. And again, interesting to note, it is sitting on the 𝗬𝗂𝗃 like we saw with Uni as well. So it's holding the 𝗬𝗂𝗃 for now. This is a weekly chart. So the 𝗬𝗂𝗃 weekly support, we got weekly horizontals, we got a 𝗬𝗂𝗃 fib, we got the 50-day MA holding ApeCoin up here at around about this 1.5 region. So I like the support region currently for Ape. And if things do start taking off for Ape, might be a nice longer term play here, and very simple move here. We just want to break higher. We want to just catch the support. You can see we're going to work this one level by level, and quite a nice little target for Ape if this thing does get going. We're looking at about 2.6. So if we do get a buy down here at these lows, we could look at about a 60% move here on ApeCoin. So just keep this one on your watch list, and yeah, looking for entries down into the 𝗬𝗂𝗃. Definitely an interesting buy zone potentially for Ape, and very simple play here. Again, if you're looking for longs here and we're dipping in here and we lose this level and the candle closes under the 50-day MA and under the 𝗬𝗂𝗃, we know our next target is probably going to be around the 618 at 1.33. So quite an easy exit for this long, but very nice big upside here. Let's see what's going on here. My man, Vet. Ooh, Ashley likes Vet. Bob. What is Bob? We got OP. There's questions for OP here. Let's see, guys. What else? Super. Yeah, Super needs an update. I agree with you. Super is, we haven't given it a bit of love lately. We need to look at that. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Ashley says, no, we were just pulling back. I see you guys like panicking in the chats when you're watching your candles. I think you know, you got to just zoom out, watch bigger candles. If you're watching 5 minutes, you're going to get freaked out every time BTC dips. But again, just play your levels. Right now we can see we're on a horizontal. We know our next stop is the 618, and below that we do have that next horizontal. So just play level by level, and always keep your eyes on dominance. When BTC is falling over, make sure you have one eye on dominance, because remember, if BTC is falling over but dominance is falling down with it, we know that the altcoins are getting a little bit of relief. They're not getting hammered as badly. So the problem comes when BTC starts dumping and dominance starts pumping. Then we know we are getting absolutely rinsed. So as long as dominance for me is starting to move lower while BTC moves lower, it's normally quite a relaxing dump, if there is such a thing as a relaxing dump. Okay. ABD Ma'am is shouting at me about AVAX. Let's see what else I got for you. Let's talk AI news. NVIDIA coming into the picture again, and off the back of this news, and we saw some action in some of these AI tokens. Fetch, good mover today, very big mover. Let's dial in on Fetch quickly, but as you can see on the weekly, Fetch is pushing into a big resistance area currently, but we do have a nice upside here for Fetch, 0.76. So that is something that I'm very interested in. Let's just dial in and give you a picture as to what's happening. Okay, so Fetch broke into this nice range for us, and we've been testing this 𝗬𝗂𝗃 and horizontal for days, and we were talking about this one I think just the other day. We came back for the little flush out here on the 𝗬𝗂𝗃, nice support, and now they've absolutely sent this thing. So here's your trend. Bang out your trend. Let's get a 4-hour going here for you. And you can see the picture that's starting to develop here. So we've had a nice break. Now we want to see some horizontals hold on a retest, preferably tied in with some kind of fibbage. Let's take a look. Throw some Fibonacci at the party here. And what do we got? We got a 382 tying in with horizontals. So if Fetch pulls back and holds this 382 here with horizontals around about 0.54, that could be a nice bullish pullback for Fetch to then load up and start potentially attacking this region here, and maybe some bigger things for us. So scalpers and degens out there, this is the 4-hour chart, so it's not that dramatic, but look for this pullback to the 382, 0.54, and backup level trend, and 618 and horizontal is your backup level 0.52. But Fetch looking good, and I believe there's some Fetch event coming. There's some AI conference coming up soon, so something brewing over there. FTM and DOT, yeah, FTN's been going nicely today. Nice little recovery we saw from FTM. Let's see what else we got in the chats here. NGen, FTM, 𝗂𝗓𝗓, yeah, 𝗂𝗓𝗓's pumping. Airdrop related, perhaps. We can always ask Simon. He can tell us. Why things like 𝗂𝗓𝗓 are pumping. Okay, SNX. Here's an SNX update for you guys from yesterday. So yesterday we were trying to play the trend in 618, and as it dipped in yesterday, it hardly actually flinched when we had that dip last night with BTC coming down. Gave us a little trend by 618. So if you did take that long, nice move there, you had a 12% move on SNX, but you can see now SNX is running out of a bit of steam. So when we start losing these trends, we start reassessing, we start looking lower down, and we need to understand now, if we lose a trend like this, we are normally starting a new downtrend. So what happens now when you lose a trend, and on any time frame, you want to start looking at your new downtrend that is potentially in play. So this is how we're going to look at this guy. And now remember, any projections at new horizontals and at trend regions. So we are now starting a new downtrend, and now it could make its way all the way down to this region. And what we want to do is look for buys on solid horizontal areas and solid fib zones. So you want to look at areas like that for your aggressive buys. And at any point in time, obviously these trends can break, and then you can always add to those positions afterwards. So if you are still bullish on synthetics and you think there is more juice in the tank, you want to let this thing settle onto a nice horizontal, let it move into a trend, then we see how it goes. If it breaks that trend, we can always add and then grow a nice size position there. Are you still looking?
I've got a few things now. I've got a few. I've got a hell of a short coming. But just regarding 𝗂𝗓𝗓, I just had a quick look for you. Elix has listed 𝗂𝗓𝗓. It is a non-native DEX. They've basically just listed it 39 minutes ago, so that might explain the pump today.
Okay. So don't FOMO into 𝗂𝗓𝗓. It's been listed on an exchange. Just be careful. Sometimes it's just a little mini pump. I just want to finish on SNX here for you guys. It has breached a weekly level. So we do like the look of SNX. We are not bearish on SNX because it's lost a lower time frame trend. Bigger picture, we've got this massive weekly area here. So for me, until SNX starts closing under these areas here, under this band down sort of 5.2, that sort of region, if we start closing under this 5.2 region, then I would say SNX is in a little bit of trouble. But until then, I quite like this area. So anything down to about 4.2, I still like SNX for this move up to 5.5. But you can see this candle looks terrible. How's this candle, Simon? Look at this thing.
It's a bit nasty. Is that a Darth Maul, isn't it? Darth Maul, right? Yeah.
Call it what you want. It looks horrible though. It's very undecided here. So so just look for your supports here. 4.2. Okay, what else we got out here? Simon, are you still digging around?
Yeah, I can share screen on mine's here if you want me. I'll just touch on a couple of bits that you just said.
Do you have a short
for us? Yeah, I've got 𝗂𝗓𝗓 open as well. I'll just finish off what you were saying by 𝗏𝗏 foam and the green. Do you want to pull my screen up? Oh, there you go. So just real quick, hang on a sec. Where is it? You can see that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So all it is, 𝗘𝗔𝗦's looking tired now. Obviously, we had a good old run from here, which was essentially this wick. We pushed up, wow, nearly 100%. I mean, that's crazy. Obviously, it's more like 80% now. But it's looking tired, man. We've had this signal in play. If you look up here, the old momentum wave's really decreased in sort of severity. It's going to go flat and then come down. We've had a TP. We're probably going to get another one here at some point. And I think it's only logical that 𝗘𝗔𝗦 has to retrace, even if it's just to kind of here before going on its next run. 𝗬𝗏 facing down.
This is a picture for us to say, you are long 𝗘𝗔𝗦. Be aware, this is a TP area, or take some risk off the table. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is screaming at us here. So yeah, just use that information.
Look at this. I mean, you can't ask for fairer than that, right? If you're in a long, maybe take some off.
Yeah, Dave wants to know, where do you short 𝗘𝗔𝗦? Are there actually?
I don't actually think you can. I think all you can do is come off spot. However, now that 𝗤𝗟𝗡 has listed, if I'm not mistaken, guys, just check out 𝗤𝗟𝗡's app. I mean, there is a spot market, but I'm sure it's a non-native debt. I'm sure I read somewhere there were perps as well. I'll have a look at that for you guys, and I'll tell you later on.
Okay, let me get into the next one I've got for you guys.
Cool.
Render. Okay, render on the weekly. So based on this AI news, there's a little bit of hype, there's a little bit of energy in some of these tokens. And again, render is still pushing this weekly band, still pushing this 4 level here, looking like it wants to push up. So we really need to dial in and start looking for entries here, because if render does pop through, especially if we have nice news tomorrow. I mean, it's going to wreck my S&P short idea, but if we have decent news tomorrow, I think all markets are going to rip. Could be a nice move for render to 5. So let's look at this. Let's dial in here. Okay, and you can see there's loads of pressure now in this region. They're really trying to push. Tricky one for an entry here on the 4 hour. Let's take a look on the 1 hour. Okay, I'm going to get you guys a fresh chart here. Get you something clean.
Man, this music's rocking today, man. Liking it. I'm just sitting here bouncing. Yeah, I've heard it, man. I just sit here bouncing, it's so cool.
Especially happy.
Yeah, man.
Okay. We just got to have a plan here for render. So again, always just identify your horizontals, identify your fibs, where they tie in. Those are the strongest regions you want to look at. These are generally reaction or bounce zones. And yeah, simple play here, I would say, for render. It is pushing nicely though. Jeez, look at this.
It is, but it's made some short signals on all of the indicators. Not strong ones, but they're coming.
So yeah, what tends to happen, I think, if we get this pressure at these big resistance areas, sometimes we get a blow off top and it blows through. And what we want to see is that pullback onto that old resistance, hold of support. That is the dream situation that can work for us. So if you are bullish on render, which is at weekly resistance here, pushing this big area, there are a couple of ways you can play this thing. And the safest way is to wait for some kind of pullback onto a nice level. Okay, nice horizontal here, 382. So this level is 3.84. Okay, if we get that opportunity there for render, 3.84, that could be the nice starter position you're looking for. Then you can maybe push it up to trend. Alternatively, this is quite tricky now. If this thing blows through here, you really need to be patient, because you want to see some horizontals start kicking in for render before you start getting too involved in this guy. So yeah, not ideal here. For an entry, you either want it lower or you want it higher. Diamond D likes seller. I've got another one that I was looking at. 𝗬𝗏 for you guys. So again, also been a little bit quiet, but I've broken 𝗬𝗏 down into a 2-hour range here for you guys. And you can see we're struggling at this 50-day MA, so a little bit of pressure here. Trend pressure, 50-day MA pressure. Trying to reject it, but what I want to say here, keep this one on your watch list for today. Okay, let's see how it goes. It's pretty simple. It's either going to reject you we're looking at lower levels, and then that's over. But keep this one on your watch list, because if it blows through this 50-day MA, I'm looking for this rejection at 95. I'm looking for that pullback to support, and then we're looking for that bigger move up. So watch the reaction here. If the 𝗬𝗂 does get some juice now in the next hour or two and manages to pop this 50-day MA, look for this pullback 92. Nice little support buy, trend retest area to look at, and then a potential move coming for 𝗬𝗂. Do you like 𝗬𝗂?
I like 𝗬𝗂. I'm looking at Celestia as well, but I like 𝗬𝗂. I just think it's in between levels right now. I think what you just said, need to wait for it to play out slightly.
Yeah, we need a move here. So yeah, this is a rejection resistance area currently. Again, guys, sometimes this is what you need to know. You need to be patient at these resistance areas. If you ape in too early, remember, it's a resistance zone. You can just get rejected. So you want to let these things pop. You want to see this support develop for you guys. Okay, let's see who else we got here. Dave says INJ flipping 1 hour green right now. Let's do an INJ update.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so again, just playing these levels, similar to 𝗵𝗥𝗓. I've got these 𝗵𝗥𝗓 degen areas here for you. The 𝗵𝗥𝗓 is a very simple one, guys. This is 𝗵𝗥𝗓 on the 1 hour. So again, we're playing strength on 𝗵𝗥𝗓. 𝗵𝗥𝗓 has been pumping. We know the targets for 𝗵𝗥𝗓 somewhere around 50. There is a potential target, but how do you get an entry? So the best way to get an entry when it's in between such massive weekly areas is to try and look for these solid buys here on solid support zones. So again, highlight these zones. 618 horizontal. So this is our first potential area. You can see they flush down, but they're now trying to push us here and hold the 618. So this is interesting. And again, we're in the downtrend. So look for this push up. Let's see what type of reaction we get here. We could easily reject, and they keep sending us lower. So the game plan here, look for buys off solid support zones. So 37.8 potential buy right here where it is now. 34 next potential buy zone. And again, if this runs away from you at any point in time, we do have this trend, but we can play this trend very nicely and very easily there. So there's always two opportunities here when you see these scalper setups. I generally like to start my positions on a solid horizontal. Small positions get burner positions in that start. Once they push up to trend, you know, that position now is in profit, and then you can start adding to it, especially if you are bullish and you believe something is going to run. Then it really works. You can start adding on as you start popping higher.
On 𝗵𝗥𝗓, I've just literally had a red signal come up now while we're talking. I don't know if you want to bring me up. I'll show you.
What time frame you get there?
So I'm literally on the 1 hour, so I've dialed in just a little bit. That has just come up. It's not even confirmed yet. We've still got 10 minutes till the hour's up, so it's possible that it could reject from there and carry on. It hasn't painted yet, but if you look, the candles are all green, and obviously what we've got here is our first pretty large non-green candle. This is flowing down quite solidly. This looks like it's going to keep going just a little bit. So the next level is, I mean, we're at support now, aren't we? I suppose the next level is somewhere in the 3480 region, which is, looking at this, is possible, and cash flow is still flowing out to the downside. And we did have quite a large chunk of bearish divergence that looks like it's actually playing out now. This is the end of the divergence spot just there, so it does look like it might be playing out.
Okay, so again, very simple play here for 𝗵𝗥𝗓. When you see these tokens that are bullish, they have momentum, you want to try and scalp entries. And again, the best way to do it, look for solid horizontals, pull out some trend. You can see we're in a clear downtrend on 𝗵𝗥𝗓. We're in a downtrend until we're not in a downtrend. So you got to look for these solid areas that you can buy. And the two most solid regions, this current area right now, the 618, 37.8, and we're looking at this 34 region that Simon was talking about now. Those are the best areas. If it runs away before that, then you just can jump on that trend break, that trend retest, and then you can send it from there. Let's just zoom out again. Let me pull up the Binance chart. Bigger picture. This is what we're looking for on 𝗵𝗥𝗓. So for me, the scalps in between these areas, you want to try and grab some entries. Again, we don't know how the story is going to play out entirely with 𝗵𝗥𝗓, but right now, for me, I still like this 50 level. And if this bullish momentum continues, there's no reason why 𝗵𝗥𝗓 is just not going to stop. It wouldn't really stop randomly over here. So I'd like to see more upside here for 𝗵𝗥𝗓. And if we do have that pullback, We do have our main support down here, 29. This region here is our horizontal, tied in with the 382 as well. So your weekly level, 29.30, and then your scalper level, it was 34, was your deeper level there.
Yeah.
We got questions about CAS. I mean, it's a bit of an elephant in the room there, seeing that short played out, didn't it?
Yeah.
But it did.
I've looked at it about 6 times today.
Okay, let's see.
It's not looking amazing. It's not looking amazing, is it? If I'm honest.
Okay. So I had a trade set up for you guys for CAS. It's a pretty simple one, but we need to wait for the pop. It needs to break this trend. So for those of you that were watching last week, we had the short in play for CAS, and it dipped down. I was sweating bullets last night. I thought last night we were going to get a capitulation. I thought CAS is gone. I'm going to get liquidated on my CAS. I thought I was really going to get hammered there. And at the last minute, look at this. They just came and they touched there and they just went bing, and they just reversed it there for us. So feeling a bit better about CAS, but looks like it wants to come down. So what I would suggest here, CAS traders, this is the 4-hour horizontal, 0.16, 0.126. Okay, this is your horizontal resistance area, and you can see what's happened here. CAS has hit this twice and rejected both times. So that is not the best look that we wanted for CAS. We wanted that breakthrough. We know we've got a fight on our hands. So what CAS needs to do, it's going to push up here, probably reject again. Then we want to break up and find support on that area. So this is a tricky area now for us on CAS. Otherwise, I'd say we're looking at a double bottom here. Another visit to 0.114, so I can really sweat again.
What is your liquidation level? Was it 11 cents?
I added some margin, so it was about it was just under this 0.11. I was very uncomfortable yesterday.
I know, mate. The problem is if you lose that, there's a long way down, isn't there? This is why we
this is the thing. So CAS traders and CAS bulls, remember, this was the flavor of the month a couple of months ago. Nothing was stopping CAS. It was just never going to end. And remember, all these pumps, all these good things do come to an end eventually, and sanity prevails. And these things get dumped; they get sent back. So just understand, you've got a long way down here. And remember, everyone who was buying down here is in profit. They're cooking, and you might get a situation where you get a lot of panic sellers while this thing starts dropping. So the next realistic area, and I don't want to upset anyone here, is 0.053 for CAS. Okay, that would be a lovely long there. With this 200-day MA coming through, we've got solid weeklies. I mean, this is a buy zone all day long. 0.053. And you can see, guys, look at this. This is a weekly. Right now, we bounced on our last weekly support. Next area, maybe we'll get a touch here, the 50-day MA. So 0.1. And maybe 0.066. So it could cascade quite quickly. Not something I want to be involved in, but we'll see how that goes. Are there any CAS traders out there?
On the 8-hour, there is actually an area between about 7.5 cents, 8 cents, and 9 cents on the 8-hour chart, which wouldn't be that area there just to your left. So just before that massive green, that's probably an area that you might be able to get some sort of support as well. Let's not find out.
Yeah, we don't really want to find out. I mean, I don't want to
really.
So yeah, call it 0.1. Call it 0.1 for CAS traders there. Leroy, what's your entry? Leroy says he's long CAS. Leroy, let us know your entry.
I've got a feeling I'm longer CAS.
Are you longer? Are you adding here?
I'm long from day one, just on the spot.
I know you are. I think everyone here knows you're long from day one.
I just like to remind you, man. It's my claim to fame, you know. If we go back to zero, then I'm screwed. I've got nothing.
Okay, so the plan here, guys, for CAS is quite simple. If we break that trend, then new trend in play, and the bull is back on, I will then be adding to my CAS position. Okay, if we drop lower, my CAS long that was so green at one point is probably going to get liquidated, but I'll keep you guys posted on that one. I'm fighting this CAS. I'm fighting the good fight here on CAS. Okay, let's see. Let's jump on to our next one. FTM update. This thing had a nice bounce, nice recovery yesterday. So those of you long Phantom, we did identify the 618. This was a nice support yesterday. Very nice bounce there. And now trying to reclaim this 382 level, which is 0.375. So if we can hold this 0.375, we should be okay here for Phantom to then start pushing higher for that 618 target. So your support levels for Phantom, 0.375 and 0.342. Those are still your main support areas on the shorter time frames here on Phantom. Okay, Shabs keeps asking me for Bob. I have no idea what this is. Let's see what Bob is.
It's on KuCoin, I guess. That must be the one.
What is this thing?
Never heard of it. Is that
Where
KuCoin, yeah?
Ooh.
𝗕𝗵𝗄𝗂.
Yeah, this 𝗕𝗵𝗄𝗂. Okay. Yeah. I don't have anything to say here. This is resistance. Bob resistance, whatever this is. Okay.
I wonder what's caused.
Volatile.
Let me look this up.
Okay, let's see if we can pick up a flag for you.
Oh, it's a meme. It's a meme, right? A 𝗵𝗶𝗆 token. Is that the one?
Okay. Well, there you go. Meme coiners. Okay, 4 hour. You do have a trend break. You can see what's happening. Just typical trend break here. We reject at a horizontal, and they send it back down. So look for your support. Many zeros. 255. Look for that support area to hold. That's a horizontal. You can see over there, and ties in nicely with the 618. So 255. That's a support region. And maybe it's going to hold this 29 level here on the 382. So yeah, good luck with that. Not sure what we do there with Bob. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Okay, let's do a super update.
I can show you two more after when you're ready.
What do you have?
I've got IMX on the daily, and I've got Games for a Living because it's the 13th tomorrow.
People were asking about that. Okay, so guys, just remind everyone what happens on the 13th with Games for a Living, please.
Cool. So Games for a Living is a gaming studio which has a token unlock like clockwork every month on the 13th. I've got a chart here which I'll show once Dylan's done his bits. For the last few months, we've basically highlighted the fact that price will consolidate down towards the 13th. And what we've got now is exactly the same again. And then what tends to happen is the 13th comes, and then kind of on the 13th to 14th, there's been a couple of exceptions, but we tend to get a springboard and price pushes up again for the month. So we seem to make a higher high every single month. This is the low point when it's a good time to buy. So yeah, oh, you've got my screen up there, Dill, or is that you?
This
no,
is me.
All right, no worries.
Okay, so we're going to look at Games for a Living shortly. This is super 4 hour. Okay, stochastic 4 hour oversold, stochastic 8 hour oversold, 12 hour oversold, daily oversold. Okay, super is talking like it wants to reverse. It's talking like it wants to just breathe a little bit, maybe give us some kind of move higher. Okay, 𝗏𝗏, I've just switched on 𝗏𝗏 here, printed a short on the 6th, and it's now printed its first X. Okay, so this is telling us this trend is potentially going to slow down. The short might start reversing. If we get another X, then we know that it's potentially on. So I would start looking for longs, for super, anywhere in this region, 0.49. So I'd say let's look for a bounce. Okay, we've lost the trend. So we do need to understand what happens now. If we've lost the trend, things do turn a little bit bearish. So let me just show you the picture here. Okay, so we've lost this rising trend. As you can see, it was a trend from way back. We've lost the trend. If we do get a bounce now and a reaction, okay, and we do get a pump higher, just be cautious up here now, because now we've got this previous downtrend coming here as well, and this could become a big resistance zone for us for super. So super on the weekly is very overbought, but the daily, 12 hour, 8 hour, 4 hour stocks, they're all oversold. They're telling us at some point we're going to get a reversal here, and I do like this level at super. 0.5, 0.49, 0.5, that sort of area. Again, and if we get that bounce there, a different story. If we blow through these trends, then the bull game is back on. But what I'm saying is any strength on super, just exercise caution until we are through this region here. So until we blow through 58, 59, I would say exercise caution with long. So be in your long off a good area. But once we get to these areas, look for TPs, look to de-risk, see what happens at that zone, because we might get rejected there.
I've got a downward channel drawn on super actually on the 4 hour as well. The levels literally line up perfectly with the Lux Algo ribbon. You know, the green ribbon that's just below price action. So this exactly the levels you're talking about is the perfect bounce zone on Lux as well. So yeah.
Okay, guys, Lux Algo, we always talk about it, but there is a 30% off there in the description. You can see we use it as confluence for our trades. Sometimes it gives us a clue that something is happening there for us. This is your 𝗣𝗓𝗋. Okay, so playing out nicely into our rising trend here. What is your play here?
I'll show you. I've got some boxes for you.
Okay, give us.
Is that games for it? There are the boxes. So I drew this 3 months ago, and then I drew this one last month, and then I drew this one roughly where it was going to be also last month. Look at how this, so this essentially what we get up to the run from kind of here to the low is roughly a 22% drop there. Then on this one, we kind of had somewhere in the region of 16, so potentially diminishing return. And then from kind of this region here, it's 11, so it's decreasing. So you know how you talk about diminishing returns in investment? At the minute, this seems to be happening again. What I'm anticipating is that we get our low somewhere here. Maybe we get a wick like this down through the box again, and price tends to go like that. You get one more wick generally, and then you go up by literally, where are we? So from this box to this box was 25%. From this box wasn't obviously as high. It was 4%. But what we do get is for the last, I think it's 5 or 6 months, except one, we've had a good push each month. So I'm hoping that the next price region will be another push up here, and we'll find ourselves in, I suppose, the 5 cent region, 5.5 cents, something like that. This is what I'm looking for. But it's tomorrow. Okay. So the unlock's tomorrow, yeah? That's obviously the important bit.
Okay, cool. There's questions about DRT and SEI. If you want to look at SEI there.
Of course. And I've got IMX as well. I've got a good one for IMX.
Okay, IMX and SEI coming up. Let's see DRT. I'm just pulling it up here on my screen. Let me open for you guys. 𝗵𝗵𝗄. I'm guessing 𝗵𝗵𝗄 only trades Bitcoin Cash, and we are still long Bitcoin Cash while we wait. It's like watching the grass grow. It's quite tiring. So 𝗵𝗵𝗄, can you let us know, seeing that your name is 𝗵𝗵𝗄, can you let us know when this thing's going to pump, please? Okay, GRT, similar situation to a lot of these altcoins. We've got some trend pressure here, downside pressure. So the bulls, again, you're looking for this push higher. You just want to see this trend continue. Problems, 786. You've got to hold that. If we dip there, 0.149, that's a potential dip zone for us. But again, if we dip into the 786, things start turning a little bit bearish. So any upside after that, we start looking at potential shorts there for the bears. So remember, if we start losing this rising trend, then the picture changes a little bit. We start having to adapt our strategy there on some of these tokens. Martin says Matic. There is some news on Matic again. I saw some more stuff on Matic. I had a tweet out. No, it's closed now. There's some more stuff happening with Matic. They've improved their operating system or whatever the story is there. But it looks like a lot easier thing to use now. I mean, I used to play around with Matic and Polygon. It was an absolute nightmare. Quite a horrific platform to use, but it seems like they are improving it now. Okay, do you have that save for us, SEI?
I do, yeah. Let me know when I'm up.
Yeah, you there?
I'm up. Cool. So at the minute, I've just hopped on the 4 hour because it was more conclusive. Now, we obviously had a long print. However, I'm not confident. And the reason I'm not confident is, first of all, this trend, the trend catcher, it's red. It's not really an uptrend. You've also got your VWAP, which is facing down, not up. And not only that, it's about to punch through the 0 line and go negative. You've also got a red spot, which is never a good sign if you're trying to long. And then finally, 𝗏𝑥_𝑎𝑙go's given us a grey spot. And the cash flow, I appreciate you guys can't see this too well. I'll zoom in. And cash flow is coming down a little bit. So everything's telling me that this is a full signal. It doesn't mean go short. What it means is wait for some sort of retrace. So this is market cipher. We're below this area. No, listen, I'll just tell it how it is. Here is the 60 line. When price comes back down and makes another push to get above this line, that essentially, this is the point where you want to go long, basically. I wouldn't go along now. At the minute, it's facing the wrong way.
What time frame is that?
It's on the 4 hour right now.
Okay, so yeah, picture on my side, what I'm looking at, 1 hour oversold. 4 hours moving up, 8 hour oversold, 12 hour oversold, daily oversold. So again, looking like super. So they had a nice pump. Still looks like they're shaking off a little bit of rust here while it falls down. So yeah, I agree. Give it some time. Maybe this 4 hour needs to adjust a little bit. I'm just looking at my chart there while your chart is up. I just want to see what I have in terms of confluence there with certain things. Yeah, look, it's an interesting area now. Let me show you my chart. Okay, so the reason it probably printed your long is because we hit a reaction zone, and it did pump it a little bit. This is the 12 hour. But quite a simple play. You can see it's going to take time to get to this trend. So there is no rush here. We could easily see more of that before we get some kind of reversal or that type of situation. So yeah, be a little bit patient with this say token. I don't think there's a rush here.
No.
There's no urgency. And then you also can bang out your trend. And if it runs away from you, you can play the trend game. There's questions for 𝗏𝗏. Monkey ball guy.
Covered 𝗏𝗏, didn't we?
Yeah. We took a long on 𝗏𝗏. It is in the, if you watch, you'll see it's there. We got a long from our indicator, and we have taken a long. Okay.
Just very quickly, I've got a note in the comments. Polygon ZK EVM is what happened to 𝗏𝗏. That's from Rectin Korea. So there you go. That might be why we got a reaction today.
Did 𝗏𝗏 pump? Is that what you're telling me?
If it did, I'm not in it. That's more of a wick, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, again, played out very nicely. We got our dip. This is yesterday. For those of you watching yesterday, this is exactly where we were looking for an entry on 𝗏𝗏. And look at this. I mean, look how this thing pinged the 618 and trend. Again, science coming into play here. Did you stay for science class, guys? Trend 618 horizontal pinged beautifully here, 0.81. I think that was pretty much where we were looking. But again, it's not sustaining it. It needs to hold this trend. So what I would say here is watch this trend, watch your supports. 0.81 is still your main support for 𝗏𝗏. So you're not out of the woods yet. We wanted to see 𝗏𝗏 really push on here and get that going. We want to see some higher lows and things like that. So until we start getting some proper moves here on 𝗏𝗏, 0.81 is still your support marker there. So no moves there until we start losing this 81.
Yeah.
And then my big levels, just a reminder, my big areas for 𝗏𝗏. So it was 0.81, it was 0.77, and it was 0.68. So those were the main 𝗏𝗏 buy zones. Okay, Ian would love to see some rune. So this is a typical scenario now that I've been talking about for the last while. We lose these trends and things start turning a little bit bearish, and it becomes short country. So here we go. So rune's lost the trend. It's come back. You can see what's happened here. It's retested trend in 618, So it pushes up, retests horizontal, retests the trend, and once we have now committed to a downtrend, it generally starts heading in that direction. So what do we look for now? We look for bounce zones, reaction zones, and where we can possibly get an aggressive entry if we start making assumptions that this trend is now gonna change. So we can look at support here for Rune 5.15. We can look for a reaction down here, 5.15 reaction zone. We do have the 50-day MA pushing up as well for Rune, so look for a reaction there. A nice little neat picture. So what we're potentially going to see here, push down, bounce again, rejection once again, potentially on this downtrend. Okay, simple move here. If we break through, then the game is different. Then we reassess where we are. But right now we have started a new downtrend, and we have to look at this potentially a little bit bearish now until proven otherwise. Okay, Anna. Big time. Big time. I found this picture of Simon when he used to go to Scouts. Did you ever go to Scouts?
Me? I don't know what you're talking about. Dip, dip, dop, dop. Oh, that's cute. He's got all the coins. I like it. I mean, that's pretty much my CoinGecko. Yeah.
when you first discover altcoins, it's that feeling. Everyone thinks crypto is Bitcoin, and then they get involved and they see these altcoins, and you can't turn back. I mean, even today I was staking Injective on this Black Panther situation. I mean, I've gone full degen here.
Degen.
Big time. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay. Oh, this was looking good. We were looking at this guy yesterday. Okay, so big time. This is the 4 hours. We had a nice little break up here. Try to hold, it dumped us down. And what did we do now? We broke up, we reclaimed it, and now they've sent. So your support marker here, big time, 0.64. That is your support region. Resistance to look for. We are at resistance right now. Okay, so you are at a resistance block, so not ideal looking for longs here now if you are in this area. 0.75, that is your resistance zone. I would suggest just play the support now. Watch this main region here, this 0.64 region, 0.64, 0.65 as your support. Difficult to put a trend here on this guy, but you can see we did have 2 touches on that trend. And let's see if we can get some lighter pullback zones here. Okay, so we do have a nice tie in as well. Okay, so we got 618 tie in with your horizontal, so that now we know that's a nice solid area, 0.64, and then we do have horizontals and 382 here as your next area. So ideally we get that move, and then they can start pushing up, pushing us higher there on big time. Simon, thank you. Thanks for hanging.
No worries,
guys. That was fun. We're going to see you again tomorrow. We've got FOMC tomorrow. So yeah, potential volatility coming both ways, up, down. I mean, it could be potentially pretty wild here. So we're going to see what happens there. I still like the idea of an S&P short. Yeah, I've told you the reasons why. That chart is starting to talk to me. We are at resistance. There is some bearish divergence playing out. So potentially something brewing there, but we're going to find out tomorrow. So let's not speculate too much. Let's see what happens, and yeah, hopefully we'll get that short in place for you guys, and we can laugh about it on Thursday if I was right, and we can cry about it on Thursday if I was wrong. So we'll see how that plays out for us. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Later.